You know, the riskiest thing you're going to do today is love. The most important thing you're going to do is love. And I think part of the design of this conference, as we see each other and converse with one another, it's actually the relational circuitry is on.
Mm-hmm.
What do you reckon?
Yeah, I agree. I think by being together in the nature of this particular style of conference, is that there's a sense of partnership to be valued. And I guess for a lot of us, we talk about being in silos, and I don't see that as healthy. I feel like there's got to be an interconnecting and that whole love factor. I mean, God is love, and that's what He's wanting to surround us with, and for how He's wanting to engage with each other. And so I think there's a real need for us to have the opportunity for conversation in this format, so that our individual voices can be heard, and we can actually listen to each other and be open to new ideas and new ways of framing things.
Yes.
So,
And when I go to Peter, I want to ask you about this, because when we go around to our different churches and you hear all the things that are talked about, they're pretty amazing.
Yeah.
So you're actually getting a whole group. It's like a banquet. You are literally, instead of one person's idea or even three, you're going to be getting a banquet of 60 different, 70 up to 100 and whatever people's different, depending on the number of conversations you're in.
Yeah.
Different ideas. That's food for the soul. I'm not just eating one thing here. It's not a piece of bread. Can't live on that alone.
Oh, it is the biggest banquet. This is I think one of the challenges that we have in the local church is we spend 52 weeks serving in our community, working with our pastor, building our church, and we kind of lose track into what the entirety of our state or country needs. And I don't know about you, but I feel like, as a population, especially in New South Wales, we're getting bigger and bigger. But it just feels like we need to make our network smaller and smaller to draw closer to each other. What you said about the siloing, I feel it week to week. And if I didn't have the privilege to travel around and see our different churches and see all the cool stuff that they've been doing, that God's in their hearts to do, you almost sort of lose that big picture focus.
Yeah.
So what I would really love to see, the value of being in a forum, this beautiful banquet of all sorts of different foods. I mean, my favorite type of banquet is, by the way, the continental one, where they've got food from every different country. That's the banquet to go to. And this is exactly like that, guys. This is a banquet where you've got different cuisines. It's not boring. It's delicious. It's got everything that you can imagine. But on top of that, I think what really that big impact, that big moment for us is where we can have where we can make our network small so that things are intimate, people are closer. But from that, the fruit of innovation, the fruit that, as you said, comes from the vine, as starts, it could permeate, it could happen. We could make generational changes, like do something like buy the tops or the equivalent for that. But it really does start with these small conversations, and you do need people from different diverse voices to be able to speak into that. It's so important now as we try and reflect our community in New South Wales and ACT. It really is important to understand, well, we've got to bring these people together, but we have to understand what our larger community needs. And I can't wait for that moment.
Yeah.
All those moments. It could just happen spontaneously, like you've said.
Yeah.
And I think there's a sense of longing for belonging.
Yeah.
So when you do draw aside and have these collective gatherings, we want as many of our people to be there, to be a part of that, and to sense that collaboration and that sense of belonging, and being part of the whole.
Yes. And when those conversations are real, like you don't want, literally in our context, I'm thinking about the Scarborough that has, a table of real good conversation. But why is that an important part of our time? Because we actually love to have real conversations about things that really matter.
Yeah.
And so I think if we missed one voice, we'd be poorer for it, because everyone has a vantage point. We're all part of the one bride. Yeah. Jesus only has one body, one spirit, one Lord, one baptism. So, if we're missing a voice, we're going to lose a perspective. We're going to lose, and I actually I think that's hopefully the gift in some of this too, is to think about knowing we all come from extroversion or introversion from our energy source, right? That's true. Like some people, I'm not sure how to have, but I actually think participating in a conversation, even listening, some people will want to do. And then there might be I always find those that listen a lot say one thing and everyone just sort of, that's a bit of those mic drop moments,
it's like gold. It's the gem.
It is. And so therefore I don't think there's anyone who can't participate in this. It's like we're all different personalities and some may speak more or less, but I think this will actually be, and even in the hearing, your own ideation then gets imagined. Oh wow, I didn't think about that. And again, we come back to the whole idea of a banquet of ideas,
So there's a resonance of thought when you have the opportunity to listen and the opportunity to speak about the stirrings that have been happening over a long period of time, and that you've been wanting to give voice to have the opportunity for that. And then, so this is what we've been asking for, so this is actually what we're offering.
Yeah. I mean, I'm an introvert. I don't... The idea of a conference where all I do is talk to people, to be honest with you, it's a little bit, intimidating. But I am excited about Collective because we do... It just feels like this is the time. It feels like the energy, the passion from your local church, multiplied that by the 70 odd churches that we have, that'll sustain me, and I think I'd be better for it. I'd be a better leader for it. I'd be a better representation of our community for it as well. And I think this is something that I'd really encourage people to sort of step out and move into, because you just don't know what that one conversation would lead to. The idea of making lifelong friends with another Churches of Christ church on the other side of Sydney, and being able to essentially just draw in from that is going to be so... I think it really does change the way that we view church. It really does.
Yeah. It's gold, Pete.